Well, we've reached the end of the line. Moero Pro Soccer is the last time that Jaleco is going to use those terrible window boxes. They are going to stick with that square form factor, though. Also up front, I need to point out that this is not the same game as Goal. And by that I mean the sequel to this game on the Famicom is called Goal, even though the US version was already called Goal, and in the US the Famicom Goal was called Goal 2. Are we straight? Okay. We've already seen a few soccer games on the Famicom, and so far they have not been the strongest games. And Moero Pro Soccer continues in that fine tradition. We do get a few interesting features, but this game really does not play well. Hitting start will give you the option to play the World Cup, a tournament, or a shooting competition, which is not the same thing as a shootout. The World Cup mode is the real heart of the game. There's 4 groups, and you pick a country, and first have to defeat a majority of the teams in your group, then you have to defeat the teams that passed that first stage. I wound up playing North Ireland in my first match because how often is that going to come up on the Famicom? As you play, the B button passes the ball, the A button shoots. Or more precisely, the B button does a gentle kick while the A button does a harsh kick. If you don't have possession of the ball, then pressing the A button can slide you into it, and pressing B rotates through which player you're controlling. The obvious thing about Moero Pro Soccer is that your view of the field is tilted about 30 degrees. And that's where the problems begin. Your controls are also rotated, but they're not rotated to match the field. They feel more like they're rotated about 40 degrees. So pressing up will generally send you upfield, but not straight upfield. And this becomes a major problem with passing and shooting. You can only shoot in 8 directions, but they're not the cardinal 8 directions. And not the 8 cardinal directions orientated by the screen or by the field. And so the ball never quite goes where you want it to. I guess with practice you could get used to this disconnect between the screen, the field, and the controls. But why would you want to? And the AI in this game is a real mess. You'll see it just standing around not doing anything. And sometimes when you try to pass the ball to an AI player, they'll just let the ball go past them. And I don't think it can throw the ball in very well at all. I certainly wind up in control of the ball more often than not when they throw in. The one advantage the AI has is it knows where it's shooting at, while my shots on goal often go in directions I'm not expecting. You can really see that in the shooting competition mode. You have 5 chances to make a shot, and you first have to toss it in from another player. There's 2 AI opponents and a goalie out there with you, and sometimes those opposing players are already on you by the time you've gotten the ball passed to you. What Moero Pro Soccer does to make defensive plays work is that you slow down to a crawl when you're dribbling the ball. And that often means that a scrum forms around the ball with just a ton of players piling on top of it. I wound up mashing A to try to steal it, and sometimes just shooting out of that mess because I couldn't see what was happening. While playing Moero Pro Soccer, I didn't manage to score a single goal. Not one. I just found the game to be too much of a mess. I'm sure with practice I could do it, but I really doubt I'm ever going to play this one again. It's yet another not very good soccer game on the Famicom.